Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to our channel, The Virtual Wholesalers. Today, Adam and I are down in San Marco. It's a trendy, beautiful area, really close to downtown Jacksonville. We came here to do some shopping. We're gonna go have some lunch at Taverna. It's a really yummy restaurant here. And then we're gonna do a video for you guys on how to track your KPIs, keep track of your numbers, so you can keep track of your business and make sure that you guys are being successful. What's up? Welcome back to our channel. The video that we wanted to do today, we want to talk about tracking your KPIs and knowing your numbers in your business.
I'm a firm believer in if you cannot measure and track something, there really is no way to improve on it. You have to be able to tell what is going on in your company, where the holes are, where the gaps are, and you also need to be able to tell where you're succeeding at so you can maybe double down or triple down on that particular thing. Tracking your numbers is not always to find a negative. You know, a lot of times you can find out what actually is working and you can really push all in on those. So by keeping track of like 7 specific things, which is what we track, it enables us to open up a ton of other KPIs that are important to us that we also track and we keep an eye on. We keep an eye on them daily, we discuss them weekly, and then we have Monday morning meetings where we go over all of our numbers for the week.
You know, if you have any type of CRM, any CRM that you're using has reporting capabilities. Adam and I just happen to be using Podio. If you aren't sure if yours actually has reporting capabilities, I guarantee it probably does. You just need to look into it a little further and figure out how to work those reports. We did that in Podio. We have it all set up and our VA keeps track of it weekly and he inputs the numbers into a huge analytics spreadsheet for us. And then every Monday morning we wake up and we have our morning meeting. We go through the numbers. We look at what's working, what isn't working, and then we come up with a plan, an action plan for that week.
The 7 things that we keep track of, they also open up a ton of other KPIs. The first one that we monitor is our lead intake and how many leads are getting pumped into our system. The reason we watch this is, number one, you know, we need to make sure that we're getting enough leads coming into the system to actually reach our goals. I mean, if it takes us, say for instance, 40 leads to get a deal to the closing table and we want to close 3 deals and we're only getting 60 leads in for the month, obviously mathematically that is going to be impossible. I mean, there are going to be times that you may be able to squeeze one out of there, but if you're really running a business and you're really wanting to work on your numbers and operate from a numbers perspective, which is what I suggest, I think the numbers do not lie, everything is black and white, you definitely want to keep track of the amount of leads that are going on. You need to keep track of the lead to close ratios, so you're making sure that amount of leads is coming into your system every month. And then if you're getting the leads that you want every month, you can and you're not closing the deals that you want, you can kind of work backwards and figure out where the hole is or what you need to be working on at that particular situation. We do track the overall number of leads, which is just the total number of leads that come into their system, but that's not totally the most relevant part. We actually are looking for the leads that are quality leads, that somebody calls in and they have some sort of interest in selling their house. When people call and say, you know, just take me off the list, or they click and hang up, we don't actually consider that a lead in our own particular system. You have to kind of figure out how to do that on your own, but if it were me, I would suggest doing just the ones that are quality leads.
So the second one is offers. So you want to see how many offers you're making every day, and you want to keep track of this because you need to know how many offers it takes to get a deal to the closing table.
So we track contracts, how many contracts did we get signed for the month. We also track how many deals that we get closed every single month. Another thing we track is the total amount of profit that we have made for the month. And the reason that we track all these separately enables you to see a bunch of other things that are really important. So these are just like the baseline or the basics that we track. And then we run formulas and it gives us a bunch of other info, which is what our KPIs are and what we really monitor, and it gives us a pulse of, you know, what exactly is going on in our business and what, like I said, what we need to fix. So another metric that we monitor is the actual mail sent or whatever type of marketing piece that we're doing. If you're doing cold calling, how many calls were made. If you're sending out mail, how many postcards you sent out. If you're doing ringless voicemail, how many ringless voicemails you sent out. If you're doing text, how many texts. So we keep track of all of that marketing that goes out and the total amount of pieces, total amount of calls, whatever it may be. We monitor that as well. And then we also, in addition to that, we monitor the expenses, obviously how much it costs to do all that. So now that you know all the 7 things that we are keeping track of, I'm going to go into some detail about how we manipulate and what the formulas look like and what the info that we get from running these formulas, what the info is and what it gives us and tells us about the pulse of our business and what our business looks like. Also, another reason that we run numbers is I think a lot of times in business you'll find yourself like being super busy and just doing busy work, and you think that you're pushing your business ahead. But when you go back and actually look at the real hard data, the numbers, the black and white, you know, numbers do not lie, and you realize like, look, I only made 3 offers this week. I felt so much busier. You're going to see a glaring hole in the amount of offers that you made. Even though it felt like you were pushing forward, in all actuality, you weren't. You were not making the phone calls, the leads weren't coming in, you weren't making the offers, you weren't getting the contract signed, and obviously you're definitely going to feel if nothing is closing. You probably already know that nothing is closing, but a lot of that other stuff, you kind of get lost in the shuffle of everyday business, just running your business. And if you're not tracking this and you're not paying attention to it, I can promise you that what you think you are doing, you are actually not doing. You have to have some sort of accountability and pay attention to what you're doing.
Or what you think your team is doing. You have to keep track of what everyone's doing in the business and make sure that you're being an efficient leader and actually leading everyone in the right direction.
Yeah, our team is super trustworthy. I mean, I believe them when they say things, but by tracking this, it also enables us to set up proper projections in the future. All right, so the main piece of info, I think in our business and probably in anybody's business, what this will give you is your ROI or your return on investment. I mean, you definitely want to keep track of what that is and make sure that what you're doing as far as your business is making sense and it makes sense to push forward in that line of work or whatever you're doing. And the way that you do this is you take the amount that you made and you divide it by the amount that you invested and it spits out your ROI. You're going to have to decide within your company or within yourself what an acceptable ROI is to you. And then you need to be paying attention, because if your ROI, obviously you want your ROI to go up. If it starts going down, then there's going to be some tweaks that you need to be making, or you need to look deeper into some of your business. And, you know, it could be your lead flow, it could be your sales techniques, but you need to start looking at other pieces. When you start realizing that ROI starts going the opposite direction, it could be that the market is flooded, it could be that you're signing up deals that you're not really closing, and you're just everything.
It could be your marketing piece. Your marketing piece isn't producing what, you know, the results it was producing. So it opens up a whole can of worms for you to look in and kind of figure out what's going on within your business.
Yeah, but it's usually one of the first telltale signs. If we see that our ROI starts dipping, we really look, what is going on in the business? We need to check out, we need to have a meeting and figure out exactly what is going on. You never want to see it dip down too much. So, but back to what I was saying is, when we go over this at our weekly meeting, you know, by having weekly meetings and addressing problems weekly, you could probably also do it daily if you had that time, but weekly meetings, it makes sure that the problem does not get too far out of hand or too far ahead of you. You're not a month behind when you realize that there's a problem. Every single week you're looking at your numbers and you're able to make minor little tweaks to your business to correct the path, so you're not so far off path that it takes a ton of work to get you back headed in the right direction. So doing this weekly, or I know probably some people probably do it daily, which is probably even better, will definitely keep you on the right path and have you going in the right direction with your business. Another piece of info that this will give you is your cost to close, which is another thing that we monitor very closely. It also helps us set proper projections and helps us reach our goals. But you take the amount that you spend in marketing and you divide it by the total amount of closed deals, and it'll give you your cost to close. And you want to watch this and make sure, again, like, it's not getting out of whack and going the opposite direction of where it's supposed to be going. Ideally, you want your cost to close to go down, your profits to go up, your ROI will go up. But by tracking this, it helps you, like if you know that it takes you $1,000 to get a deal to the closing table, and you want to close 4 deals that month, then you know right off the bat that you're going to be needing to spending right around $4,000 in order to get 4 deals. If you're spending $2,000 and you're expecting to get 4 deals, you're pretty much living in a pipe dream. You may be able to squeak something out, but I highly doubt it. So if you want to run your business professionally in the way that it should be ran, you need to be paying attention to your cost to close. You need to be setting yourself up for success by spending the correct amount of marketing dollars, because if you're not doing this, you're failing your whole team. You're expecting way more out of them, but you're not doing enough on your end to give them the right amount of leads and the right info in order for them to do their job. So another piece of key information that this will give you is your response rate, or what your marketing, how well it's working. And what you do is you take the amount of leads that you got, you divide them by the number of marketing pieces that you sent out or the calls that you made, and it'll spit out the number, which is actually your response rate. It will actually tell you, if what the marketing piece that you're using or the marketing channel that you are using is actually working. A lot of times you can do this. We do it by campaign. You could get super granular and do it by campaign and by the exact type of list, and see that that is a lot more work, but it's definitely done. If you have a proper CRM, it should easily be able to do most CRMs, can they get that out? I think so.
Yeah, as long as you track everything correctly.
Yeah, so by tracking your response rate, like I said, it will tell you if your message is working, if the marketing channel that you're using is working. So it's super key to have this. Another thing that we track is the amount of leads that it takes us to get a deal to the closing table. If in our business, if we're looking at our business and we realize, like, look, it takes us 25 leads right now to get a deal to the closing table. Great, that's great. If the next week or the week after that we start seeing that our amount of leads is creeping up to, say, 30, 35, 40, then we know that we need to address something. We either need to look at our marketing piece and see if the leads that are coming in are garbage. It could be our acquisition team is not following the exact sale process that we have in place, but it gives you some points that you can actually go and look at and try and correct rather than just guessing at what is going on. First thing I would suggest is looking at the lead quality. Look, are these people motivated? Are the calls that are coming in, are they motivated, or are they just junk leads? After that, I would probably listen to some of my sales team's calls just to see, like I said, if they're following the correct process. But anyway, that's just an example of the type of info that you can get out of keeping track of your leads to close ratio, and it helps you just keep an eye on your business. All right, so another thing that we track, in addition to all that, like I said, is we track how many offers it takes us to get one contract signed. And the reason we do this is we want it to take a low amount of offers to get a contract signed. Number one, it means that our sales team is working on qualified leads, or they're qualifying the lead correctly, and by the time that they're making the offer, the person or the seller is ready to go. It also shows us if they're getting better as far as just their, number one, judging the lead, but also their sales techniques and what they're using, making sure that they're covering all their deal killers. So by tracking the amount of leads that it takes you to get a contract signed, if that number starts climbing up, you really need to take a step back and see exactly why it is going up. It could be that your sales team is just making offers on non-motivated sellers, which is wasting everybody's time. It could be that they're just not qualifying the lead correctly, but there's a reason that it's taking them more, and you need to get to the bottom of that. You need to figure out exactly why it's climbing that way. Also, by tracking this, again, it helps you set your projections. Like if you're monitoring, if it takes you 10 offers to get one contract to the closing table or one contract closed, and you want to get 5 deals that month, you know right out of the gate, judging by your numbers, that you need to be making 50 offers per month. So again, if you're tracking your offers every month, if halfway through the month you realize, look, I've only made 15 offers, you're 35 offers behind on getting to 5 deals for that month. So you either need to be getting on the phone, you need to be making more offers at that point. It just, the numbers do not lie. They tell you exactly what needs to happen and where you stand that month as far as getting to your goals or accomplishing what you need. So not only does it tell you if something is wrong, it will also tell you, where you stand and what direction, if you need to pick up the pace or if you're on pace to hit your goals. All right, another piece of info, by just tracking 7 little things, you can see it will give you so much info and so much clarity on a ton of other KPIs in your business. But another one that we track is how many contracts do we have to actually get signed to get a deal to the closing table. Not everything that you get signed up is actually going to make it to the closing table. Sometimes things fall apart, sometimes you overpay, but by tracking this, you'll be able to kind of figure out if it starts taking you more signed contracts to get a deal, then you need to start addressing what is causing that. It could be, again, your sales team. Hopefully it's not. Maybe they're overpaying and the deal is not closing. But there's a bunch of things that you can look at and figure out, you know, if it starts climbing, obviously something is off and something needs to be addressed. Also, it will help you, again, make projections. If you know that for every 2 contracts you get signed up, only 1 closes, and you want to get a deal and you want to get 5 deals that month, you know by the numbers that you need to get 10 contracts signed up in order for 5 of those to close, because 5 will fall out of contract and won't close, or something will happen. So it helps you see if there's a problem. It also helps you know the number that you have to hit in order to achieve your goals. So there's just a ton of useful info that you can get out of keeping track of your numbers. All right, so the last one, but obviously this is definitely not the least, it's probably the most important, is your average profit per deal. You know, this is going to be key in helping you reach your goals. You need to be watching this, and obviously you want it to go up. You never want it to go down. If it starts going down, you're either paying too much for the properties, or you're not working your buyers, or you're not working your sellers in the correct fashion. So you may want to address that. So it does help to, again, meet your goals. If you know that you want to make $60,000 per month and you know your average profit is $12,000 per deal, you know that you need to be getting 5 deals signed up into the closing table. We ask a lot of people all the time, like, what's your average? And they tell me, you know, it's $6,000 to $12,000. Listen, that is not an average, that's a range. And if you're operating like that, you're setting yourself up for massive failure, because if you think that you're in the 6 to 12 range and in your head you're at 12,000, but you're actually, the actual black and white number is 6,000, you have to actually double everything that you're doing as far as marketing, as far as leads talked to, as far as offers made. You have to double every single thing in order to reach that. So you can kind of see why it is super important to keep track of all this. I mean, there is no use lying to yourself, no use lying to your business. Your family depends on you. So you might as well take all of this serious, track it from the beginning, and make life so much easier on you. We can talk literally from experience. I promise you, there was a time in our business that we did not track our numbers, and when the problem arose, we had no clue what the problem is because we weren't tracking anything. So we did not know where to look at that particular time. So obviously we did not want to live like that, so we corrected that problem, which is why we are shooting this video. If you guys take anything from this video, please, from an early start in your business, please start tracking your numbers. At least keep track of them. Even if you don't really know what to do with them right now, you will eventually figure out what to do with them. So you might as well set up a system. I don't care if you're just checking boxes off. I don't know why anybody would still use pencil and paper, but if that's what you have to use it. You could also, I mean, any spreadsheet, you can set up any type of spreadsheet to do it, but I can't stress this enough, how important numbers are and how important it is to track them.
And that's the whole reason we wanted to do this video. Adam and I have definitely, in the early years of our business, we didn't really run it like a business, so we didn't know our numbers. And whenever, you know, stuff started happening, we had no idea how to correct it. And we went to our mentors.
It was a mess.
Yeah, it was a mess. And we went to our mentors and we're like, you know, we're having issues here and there. And they're like, well, where are your numbers? We can help you break them down. And we're like, well, we don't have any numbers.
What's that mean? What does that mean?
So there was no way to actually really tell where the problem was, right? So we kind of had to start from scratch and really just, you know, build it over. But luckily that was early on. So, but we learned from it, and we wanted to make sure that we did the video so you guys can, you know, not make the same mistake that we made. If you're just starting out, or if you've been wholesaling for 5 years, do yourself a favor, make sure, learn the reporting processes in your CRM, and go ahead and start tracking these numbers. It is vital to the success of your business.
Yeah, everything that you do in your business, if you keep track of it, eventually it will give you some sort of clue once you figure out how to piece everything together, and it's not really that hard. It's wholesaling. There's only 7 things that you have to track, and then it's just a matter of setting up a few, are they called equations? What do you call those? No, yeah, a few formulas, whatever you want to call them. Formulas. I don't care what you call them, but you know, tracking those 7 things, setting up those formulas, and it will really open your eyes as to what your business is doing. All right, guys, that about wraps it up. I hope this video added some sort of value and gives some sort of clarity on the numbers that you can keep, how simple it can be, and also the sheer amount of information that you can get out of just tracking 7 simple numbers. If it did add value, please give us the thumbs up. If you are not already subscribed to the channel, please hit the subscribe button, and I think that is it. We will catch you guys next week. See ya.
Bye.